Hello and welcome to High Spirits with Edwin Courtenay. Apologies that it's been so long since my last video. The year has rather got away with me and we've had a very busy start, but I do intend to try to be a little bit more regular with my videos here on YouTube. This year we've decided to focus in a slightly different direction, and we're going to bring forwards a number of channeled communications from the Ascended Masters and Archangels. I'm also going to try and attempt something which I've had some success with over Zoom, which is transfiguration. Transfiguration is a physical mediumship art which involves spirit building an ectoplasmic screen in front of the face of the medium, which they manipulate in order to alter the features of the medium to represent the communicating spirit. Now, as I say, I've tried some of this over Zoom, and we have had, surprisingly, some success with it. But as with all types of mediumship, transfiguration is an experiment, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see whether you, the viewer, notice any changes in my face as the channeling progresses. It'll take me a little bit longer to move in and out of the trance states so that spirit can build the ectoplasmic screen. If you do notice anything, I'd love you to post any comments below. I do read through the comments and reply to them as and when I can. And I'd be very, very keen to hear any of your observations or sightings, either in regards to shifts and changes with my face or anything that you might see in the room around me as well. We're going to use a red light for the transfiguration, which is a traditional light source for physical mediumship. Red light is said to encourage physical manifestation in acts of mediumship and trance. So I'm going to turn out the main light, move into the trance state. It'll be the Ascended Master Saint Germain this evening who's coming to speak to us, and then we'll hear what he's got to say. Computer, lights off. I'll just give the camera a moment to adapt to the red light setting. Okay. Let's see what Saint Germain has got to say. It is with great joy that I am presented with this opportunity to communicate with you all in this way. I am the Ascended Master Saint Germain, and I bid you welcome. I am Master of the Seventh Ray, Patron of the Violet Flame, Master of Alchemy and Change, of Ritual, Ceremony, Magic, and Vision. Today I have come to speak to you a little concerning the nature of your world. Information, much of which I am sure many of you already know, but which many might benefit from being reminded of, that might help them journey through this particularly trying period of history that mankind is enduring now. As you know, your world and universe is subject to the constraints and limitations of universal law. These are constrictions that were placed on the nature and expression of the divine in your universe as a result of the divine placing limitations upon itself, creating a space which it knew, when it entered into, would subject it to certain rules and laws, converting it into a manifestation of limited space and time, previously unknown to its nature or existence. Your third-dimensional reality creates certain constrictions then, which determine the nature of energy and matter, its creation, endurance, and recycling, the way in which it is structured and formed. One of these laws being the law of polarity. The law of polarity states that wherever there is a positive force, there has to be an equal negative force in existence counterbalancing it. Wherever there is light, there must be darkness. Wherever there is joy, there must be sadness. Wherever there is health and happiness, there must be pain and sorrow. The law of polarity, as with all of the other universal laws, will not remain in existence forever. When mankind learns to transcend the illusionary nature of their existence, they will transcend universal law too. And as a result of this, the laws will cease to exist. But until then, these laws will continue to endure and limit and constrain mankind, and the law of polarity will ensure that the cyclic nature of your Earth's progression will always be one which steers them from darkness into light and light into darkness, eternally propelling them forwards with each swing of the pendulum into the shadow and the light. Imagine then a pendulum swinging, half in darkness, half in light, half in darkness, half in light. As the pendulum swings, it builds momentum and energy. It moves deeper into the darkness and deeper into the light, spending longer in the darkness and longer in the light, moving with increasing energy and power, carried by the momentum of its movement. It is the time spent in darkness that often propels the pendulum forward into illumination, realization, recognition, and truth. Darkness is a powerful motivating force. Anger, rage, sorrow, pain, ignorance, fear. It causes mankind to be ingenious, to bind together, to unify, to plan and strategize, to strengthen and grow, to excel as a result of pain witnessed and endured. The longer spent in the darkness, the deeper into the shadow plunged, the greater the desire to move into the light and to remain there, to develop new strategies that will hopefully ensure that the world will not have to move into the darkness again. If you look back through your history, you will see that this is so. That mankind has often spent prolonged periods of time in ignorance, in pain, in anguish, in fear, in war, in hatred. And then it has moved into new periods of enlightenment and realization. Art, poetry, tolerance, growth, recognition, truth, excellence, and transformation, where the nature of society has exploded forth from its dark era, and the pain of slavery and war, of intolerance and hatred, has melted away into new eras of peace, expression, recognition, allowance, and becoming. But still, even though mankind has moved into these glorious moments of paradise, of technology, of healthcare, of psychological and metaphysical understanding, the pendulum has swung back into the shadow with equal ferocity. And the new wars that have bloomed, the old hatred that has resurfaced, the anger and the shame and the intolerance and the fear has blossomed in many ways more powerfully than it did before, because this time it has not blossomed as a result of ignorance, but as a result of intolerance, a desire for one worldview to rise up and quash all others, an egoic growth that has risen in order to threaten the light and quash it completely. However, your world is not doomed, not caught in this eternal cycle necessarily. You have free will, and as such, you have the power to change the dynamic of your continued evolution, to potentially suspend the pendulum in the light by shifting and altering the collective consciousness of your world, by holding a vision of paradise for your future and endeavoring to swell the nature of the mind of humanity and to bring about a paradigm shift in consciousness and truth. Even now, the pendulum swings back towards the light. And as a result of this, ignorance will dissolve. Lies will be dragged into the light. Anger will be quelled with peace and love and gentleness. Wars will cease, and those places decimated will rise again. They will grow brighter and stronger and braver than they were before, and the consciousness of man will band together in order to prevent such things from happening again in the future. It may be hard to believe. You may find it rather idealistic, rather overly optimistic in nature. But it is the way of things. And also, the consciousness of mankind will leap forward, will expand, will grow, will change, as it always has when the pendulum has swung into the light before. New ground will be broken in regards to the consciousness of mankind, and the quantum realities realized and experienced, quantified and aligned with spiritual philosophy and truth. Mankind will go through a new era of not only peace but enlightenment and empowerment. As a result of this, your world will change, and you are part of that change. You potentially have the power to contribute to it, to hold the world in this new era of hope and peace, to bring about a transformation. So, light workers of the world, we the Masters call to you and ask you now to play your part, to hold your vision of the new paradigm, of the new earth, of new mankind, to send light and harmony and peace to the world and to your long-enduring earth, to heal, to enlighten, to encourage, to hold the vision of the future for those who cannot at this moment in time see it, to believe, to become shining examples of spiritual truth, to share the word of the divine, the spiritual truths, with all of those you know in your own way, gently, lovingly, directly, indirectly, to help them see and recognize the way forwards, to suspend the pendulum for longer, to suspend the pendulum indefinitely, to break through the ceiling, to shift the consciousness of man, to contribute to the breakthrough of the planetary spirit, of the ascension of the world. All it requires is you, the extra weight of your love and spirit, to tip the scale, to change the nature of the way. So we ask you to pray. We ask you to send healing to your world. We ask you to hold a vision of peace, to broadcast light and hope, to ground and anchor the plan, to share your truth and understanding. In every way, in every day, to bless and consecrate your world, and to believe in the brighter truth. And to aid you in this endeavour, I offer the energy of the violet flame, the active principle of my ray, the seventh ray, the violet flame of alchemy and transmutation. To use it to compost the negativity that exists in your world, to convert it into light that can be used to fulfill your aims and goals. To take the darkness and the shadow, the hate and pain and anger and rage willingly, to see it as energy which can be converted easily into love and peace and light, to compost it into a nutrient that will feed the divine plan. When you encounter darkness in your own life, in the lives of those around you, in your immediate world and in your more distant one, when you hear horror stories on the radio, when you witness terror on the television, I want you to recite these words, holding your focus at the brow center, conjuring and calling the energy of the violet flame to convert and transform this darkness into light. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray, flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray, flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray, Flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray. Flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray. Flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray. Flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. I call upon the violet flame, flame of the seventh ray. Flame of alchemy and change, to Saint Germain I pray. 7 times round, utter the invocation, holding your focus on the brow, conjuring the power of the violet flame, calling upon my name to aid and assist you. And the darkness you encounter will be transformed into light, and the light will be redirected into the aim of manifesting and anchoring the new world, the new hope, the new truth, the new light. Take then these words, share them if you will, if you can, with those who have ears to hear them. Let them know this truth, that it might aid them in their endeavours. Go forward then with my blessing. May it surround you always and aid you on your path. In love and light and truth, I am the Master Saint Germain. I take my leave and leave with you my love. Computer, light on. So, I hope you enjoyed that little message from the Ascended Master Saint Germain. As I mentioned, I would be very interested to see if you observed anything, listening back to that, watching the screen, any changes in regards to my face or the environment. It may be that we just need to get the lighting a little bit better to increase some of the shadow, because sometimes the shadow helps a little bit more with the transfiguration. But we will see. It is an experiment. Next time we'll get it a little bit better and a little bit better. But the message is probably more important than the theatrics. And I hope that the message helps and resonates. And indeed, as Saint Germain said, that you can pass the message on to anybody who you feel might benefit from that. If you've enjoyed today's trans-channeling, then please do click and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And please do let other people know who we are and where we are here in this our little corner of the internet. You can find out more details about my work too at my website, edwincourtenay.co.uk. We do lots of Zoom lectures and courses and channeled evenings, and also one-day workshops. All the details can be found there, and there's lots of great free stuff on the website too for you to download, meditations and music and lectures that are free. So do go there, if nothing else, and check out the free stuff. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you here at some point again in the future very soon. Take care, stay safe and well, and bright blessed be.